Hey guys, today it's Tyler. I'm going to be reviewing the U8 smartwatch from Wish. Quick spoiler, it sucks. So normally, I don't wear watches. But when I saw this on Wish for only $15, smartwatch for only $15, I couldn't pass up the chance to at least get one. I picked one up. Surprisingly, it only took a month to get here. Yeah, because it's being shipped from China. It takes a month to get overseas. So it only took a month to get here. Yeah, it's just insane. For me to get this. Honestly, it serves better as a bracelet than it does as a smartwatch. I don't use it anymore because, one, there's really no features on here that I think are necessarily helpful. And two, the band that this is supposed to clip back into on this side has been lost for like the last, I want to say like close to 3 months now. And of course, when you get the packaging, normally you'll get, say, 2 extra clips for you to be able to clip back in. Maybe one that's larger, one that's smaller, and one that's medium. But this one only came with 1 clip. So after I lost that, I was pulling it out of my pocket because I actually don't wear this watch on my wrist when I'm doing excessive things because the band itself didn't want to stay on for the longest time. So occasionally I'd actually fold up my smartwatch like this, throw it in my pocket, and one of the times when I was pulling it out, I lost the band, unfortunately. But at the same time, I wasn't wearing it very much afterwards anyway, or very much before that anyways. So what could possibly be on this smartwatch for it to be so darn bad? Well, there's not a lot. And I'm going to say that blatantly because it should be clear that there's not a lot on most smartwatches, so there's definitely not a lot on this one. First off, this connects to a phone through Bluetooth. The connection is actually quite good, but that's because there's really nothing going on. So there's a volume. There's no actual volume buttons on the watch itself. You have to go into an application on the watch in order to change the volume. And then application-wise, there's settings, anti-lost, so you can find it, and that's through the Bluetooth connection. There's power saver and ringtone, which the ringtones, there are quite a few, but they sound really grainy through the speakers on this smartwatch. There's a barometer, an altimeter, a pedometer, and a stopwatch. The stopwatch I've used quite often, but my one problem with this is that the calibration for the touch sensor on this watch is actually very far from being good, just like the watch itself. So I can't necessarily use the stopwatch features because if I want to stop the watch, I have to click the button like 6 times in order for it to actually register a click. Next, there's a phone book for keeping contacts. I don't know how it does that because there's no internal storage on here. There's dialer and messages, messages, and messages can only show you messages that show up on your phone, and it can't go back and see past ones. So it can only show you new messages that show up on your phone in like a notification sense. Also, there are calls and BT Notice and BT Music and BT Camera. So what BT is BT is an app that you can download. I think it's BT Notifications. But BT Notifications is an app you can download for free. It's developed in like China or Taiwan or something, so all of the lettering is like ancient to us. You can't understand most of the application until you go into the language settings and change it to English. But then even when you go through the settings, the only thing it ever helps you do is be able to see notifications that are on your phone on the device. It doesn't help you correlate much else. So that's what BT Notice does. You can play music through here, but you can't play music through the watch. All you can do with BT Music is you can change the music that you're listening to on your phone with your watch. doesn't make much sense. And then also BT camera. See, there's no camera on here either. So the only way you can use BT camera is if you position your phone in another place, and then you can use your camera to take the physical picture. But in my opinion, none of those features are ever something that I'd use on like a daily basis. So after I saw the application just taking up space on my phone, I decided to delete it and use the watch for some of its other features. There's an alarm, which I never used because half the time the sound being given off by this watch was completely muffled by whatever I had it. So so say if I had it underneath my sweatshirt sleeve, it would the sound would come out muffled, and I would never hear it or never realize that my alarm's going off. There's a calendar on here as well. The calendar only features the days, so it only does the days, so 1 through 31 for January. But I suppose my biggest problem with the calendar is if you already have a Bluetooth notification paired, or a Bluetooth device paired up with your phone, why not show you events and reminders in the calendar in real time? That would make sense. But the calendar only just shows you the days. You can't set reminders or events or anything on this watch because it doesn't have the capabilities for that. Also, the watch has a calculator and a sleep monitor. Now, I used the sleep monitor once, and I have to tell you, the results were completely unresponsive. Yeah. So I started it, took a nap, woke back up, and I don't really know what I was desiring to get from it because nowhere on the back of the box, nowhere in the application, nowhere in the manual that came with this that was sparse as it was, did it tell me what the sleep monitor was supposed to be telling me. Am I sleeping good? Is it monitoring things like a heart rate, or how fast you're breathing, how long you're sleeping? So none of that actually made any sense to me. So that about covers everything application-wise that's on this watch. Some other things I want to talk about are the battery life and what happens when it dies. So first off, when it dies, it takes quite a low amount of time in order to charge back up. I just did it because I haven't used it in so long, so I just did it in about 40 minutes through a 3.0 USB fast charging port. The problem is that when this watch dies, it completely clears the time and date from the watch. So it goes back to Thursday, January 1st, and right now it's 1:17 because about an hour, or 1:18 because an hour and 18 minutes ago I started to charge it. So every time it dies, you have to go all the way back into settings and click through the very unresponsive touchscreen in order to set the time back up, when 9 times out of 10 you'll forget to charge this anyways when you go to bed at night, and so when you wake up in the morning it'll be dead. So you have to do the whole thing all over again. One thing that I kind of didn't like about the time feature is that the time feature on the watch itself only shows digital. Now, I actually kind of prefer an analog clock on my wrist because I think it looks more natural in a way. Like, I can read a digit or an analog clock just as fast as I can read a digital one. There's no delay there, so I actually kind of prefer an analog clock rather than the digital, but there's no settings in here to change that. Another thing is this watch only shows military time. So if you can't read military time, which I can, but if you can't read military time, then oh well. You're gonna sit there and you're gonna try and figure out subtract 12 from every time you have to read your watch. So all around, I personally didn't like this device at all. If you really wanted to, you could save money. Instead of buying 15 of these, you could buy one Samsung Gear S2, which we have a review for over there. Honestly, that smartwatch performs way better, has way more features that actually are useful, and is something that I'm looking forward to getting if and when I get the money for it. So yeah, this watch all around, I pretty much hated it. Don't buy smartwatches from Wish, or Geek is also another sub-site of Wish. Don't buy them from there either. Their quality is astonishingly bad. If you actually decided that you liked anything I told you about this watch, you can buy one. They're about 15 to, I think they go to $15 to $45. For a while I was considering getting another one just because I lost the band on this one when I realized it's not worth it. I can get a regular watch. I've got regular watches that I can use that I don't have to spend any more money on. So yeah, that's my review for the U8 smartwatch from Wish.com. If you like this video, like it. If you disliked it, you can do that too. If you want to leave a comment or you want to complain about the quality of this watch as well, you can leave a comment in the section below. I'll understand. You can subscribe if you want to see more videos. Also, in the description below is a Patreon link. Patreon helps us because you can give a donation based on any sequence of time. So whenever we release a new video, or say monthly on a monthly basis, and that helps us out. Also, in the description below is a bookmark for Amazon, so you can set your bookmark on Amazon to our affiliate link, so we get a kickback based on anything you buy from Amazon, and that helps us out a lot too. So again, don't forget to like and subscribe.